Do you ever feel like you're still holding on to things that no longer serve you? As we get older, we begin to see life differently. What once seemed necessary, whether it was approval from others, staying up to date on the latest trends, or filling every moment with activity, starts to lose its importance. After 60, you gain a new level of clarity, realizing that some things just don't deserve your energy anymore. In this video, we're diving into 6 things that become unnecessary after you turn 60. Some of them might surprise you, while others might be things you've already started letting go of. Either way, recognizing what no longer adds value to your life can free up time, energy, and peace of mind, allowing you to focus on what truly matters. Because after all, the best years of your life shouldn't be weighed down by things that no longer bring you joy. Stay with us until the end, because you may find that letting go of these 6 things could change your life in ways you never expected. And once you do, you'll wonder why you didn't do it sooner. Now let's get started. Number 1, keeping up with trends. There was a time when staying on top of the latest trends felt important. Whether it was fashion, technology, or even lifestyle choices, there was always an unspoken pressure to keep up. But once you turn 60, you start to realize that most trends are designed to come and go, and chasing them is more exhausting than rewarding. What's popular today will be forgotten tomorrow, and trying to stay ahead of it all, it's simply not worth the effort. Take fashion, for example. When you were younger, you might have felt the need to dress a certain way to fit in. But now, you know what looks good on you, what feels comfortable, and what suits your personality. You're not dressing to impress anyone else, you're dressing for yourself. That means no more worrying about whether your clothes are in season, or whether your shoes match the latest trend. Your style is timeless because it's uniquely yours. The same goes for technology. Every year, new gadgets hit the market, promising to be faster, smarter, and better than the last. But do you really need the latest phone? The newest smartwatch, or a dozen apps you'll never use? After 60, technology should serve you, not the other way around. Learning every new update, downloading every trending app, or replacing your perfectly good devices. Just because something newer exists, that's unnecessary stress you don't need. And then there are lifestyle trends. The diets, the workouts, the social media fads. One year they tell you to eat only low-fat foods. The next, it's all about protein. One moment, walking is the best exercise. The next, it's high-intensity workouts. But here's the truth, you've lived long enough to know what works for you. You don't need someone else's idea of the best way to live your life. You know your body, your habits, and what makes you feel good. That's all that matters. Letting go of the need to keep up with trends is one of the most freeing things you can do after 60. It allows you to focus on what truly matters, what makes you feel comfortable, what brings you joy, and what actually improves your quality of life. No more chasing what's new, no more feeling left behind. Because the truth is, the best things in life don't go out of style. Number 2, seeking everyone's approval. For much of life, there's an unspoken pressure to meet expectations. Whether it's from family, friends, coworkers, or even society as a whole, you try to be agreeable, to say the right things, to avoid disappointing others. But after 60, something shifts. You realize that no matter how much effort you put into pleasing others, there will always be someone who disagrees, someone who criticizes, or someone who thinks you should be doing things differently. And that's when you start to ask yourself, why am I still trying so hard to gain approval I don't even need? Think about how many decisions you've made in life, based on what others thought was best. Maybe you took a certain job because it was seen as respectable. Maybe you said yes to invitations. You didn't want to attend because you didn't want to seem rude. Maybe you held back on doing things that truly made you happy, because you feared being judged. But now, you finally realize that none of that really matters. The truth is, people are too busy thinking about themselves to scrutinize your every move. And even if they do, their opinions don't define you. After 60, your focus shifts to what makes you happy, what gives you peace, and what feels right to you. You no longer waste time trying to be the version of yourself that others expect. You embrace who you truly are. And here's the beautiful part. The moment you stop seeking approval, you gain something even better, self-respect. You start doing things because they feel right, not because they'll earn someone's praise. You surround yourself with people who accept you as you are, not those who only approve when you fit their standards. You let go of the need for validation, and instead you find confidence in simply being yourself. So if you've spent decades worrying about what people think, it might be time to finally let that go. You don't need permission to live your life on your own terms. The people who truly matter will support you, and the rest? Their opinions were never worth your energy in the first place. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, overloading your schedule. For much of life, being busy is seen as a good thing. A packed schedule, endless commitments, and constantly being on the move can make you feel productive, useful, and even important. But once you turn 60, you start to realize something: busyness doesn't always mean happiness. In fact, constantly filling your days with obligations can leave you feeling drained rather than fulfilled. For years, you may have juggled responsibilities, balancing work, family, social events, and countless other obligations. But after 60, you gain a new perspective on time. You realize that time is no longer something to spend carelessly. It's something to be cherished. Every hour you say yes to something unnecessary is an hour you take away from something truly meaningful. One of the biggest changes that happens as you age is that you no longer feel the need to prove yourself through activity. You don't have to accept every invitation, agree to every favor, or feel guilty for turning down things that don't bring you joy. Slowing down isn't laziness, it's wisdom. It's recognizing that your energy is valuable and it should be spent on things that truly matter, things that bring peace, joy, and fulfillment. Instead of packing your days with constant obligations, you start embracing intentional living. That means choosing quality over quantity, spending time with people who uplift you, engaging in activities that truly bring you joy, and allowing yourself to simply be. There is a certain power in waking up and knowing that your day is yours to shape, not one dictated by a long list of tasks and responsibilities that only leave you feeling exhausted. And the truth is, when you step back from the constant rush, you begin to appreciate life in a way that you never did before. You notice the small moments: a quiet morning with a cup of coffee, a meaningful conversation, a walk where you're not in a hurry to get somewhere. These moments might seem simple, but they are often the ones that bring the greatest peace. So if you've spent most of your life measuring success by how much you can fit into your day, it might be time to rethink that. Busyness does not define your worth. And once you stop overloading your schedule, you might just find that life becomes more enjoyable, more fulfilling, and more meaningful than ever before. Let's move on. Number 4, holding on to toxic relationships. As the years pass, you start to realize that not every relationship is worth keeping. When you were younger, you may have felt obligated to keep certain people in your life, whether it was out of guilt, habit, or a sense of duty. But after 60, something shifts. You become more protective of your time, your peace, and your energy. And that means letting go of relationships that no longer serve you. Toxic relationships can take many forms. It could be a so-called friend who only reaches out when they need something, a relative who constantly criticizes you, or even an old acquaintance who drains your energy with endless negativity. At one point, you may have told yourself that's just how they are and put up with their behavior. But now, you don't have the patience for it anymore, and that's a good thing. By 60, you understand that relationships should bring joy, not exhaustion. If someone constantly makes you feel guilty, anxious, or unappreciated, then keeping them around is a choice, not an obligation. The idea that you must tolerate negativity just because of history, that belief no longer holds weight. You've lived long enough to know that people either add to your life or take away from it, and you deserve to be surrounded by those who lift you up, not drag you down. And here's something even more important. Letting go of toxic relationships isn't about anger or resentment. It's about self-respect. It's about choosing peace over conflict, calm over chaos, and emotional well-being over unnecessary drama. Some people may not understand your decision. They may even try to make you feel guilty for stepping away. But the truth is, you don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing happiness. What you do owe yourself, however, is a life filled with genuine, supportive, and loving connections. The kind of people who celebrate your victories, stand by you in difficult times, and bring joy into your days. When you stop holding on to the wrong people, you make space for the right ones. And that's one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself at this stage in life. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, worrying about what others think. For much of life, many people carry the weight of other people's opinions. You may have spent years making decisions based on what was expected of you, choosing a career, a lifestyle, even your words and actions with the fear of being judged. But once you turn 60, something becomes clear. Most of the things you worried about, they never really mattered. The truth is, people have opinions about everything. No matter what you do, someone will always have something to say. If you dress a certain way, some will approve and others won't. If you make a big decision, some will support you and others will criticize. Trying to please everyone is a game you can never win. And at this stage in life, you realize you no longer need to play. Think about how much time is wasted over the years second-guessing yourself because of what someone else might think. How many moments of joy were muted because you worried about looking silly? How many dreams were set aside because you feared what people would say? But after 60, you begin to see things differently. You realize that true freedom comes when you stop living for the approval of others and start living for yourself. This doesn't mean you stop caring about people. It means you stop giving their opinions power over your happiness. The people who genuinely care about you will accept you for who you are, not for who they want you to be. And those who constantly judge or criticize, their opinions were never about you. They were about their own insecurities. Letting go of this worry is one of the most liberating things you can do. You no longer waste time trying to fit into a mold that was never meant for you. You start embracing your choices fully, speaking your mind without hesitation, and enjoying life without the unnecessary burden of judgment. And in doing so, you find a new level of confidence and peace. So if you spent too many years worrying about what others think, now is the time to let that go. Their thoughts don't shape your life, you do. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you'll experience the kind of freedom that makes every day more enjoyable, more fulfilling, and truly your own. Let's move on. Number 6, buying and accumulating more stuff. For decades, life may have been centered around acquiring things. A bigger house, a nicer car, more clothes, better furniture. There was always something new to buy, something else to add. But after 60, you begin to see possessions differently. You start to realize that having more doesn't always mean having better. In fact, the things you own can often end up owning you. Look around your home. How many things do you truly use? And how many just sit there taking up space? Over the years, it's easy to accumulate belongings, thinking they'll bring happiness, security, or a sense of achievement. But as you get older, you realize that it's not the possessions that bring joy. It's the experiences, the people, and the moments that truly matter. There's a reason so many people feel relief after decluttering. Letting go of unnecessary things isn't just about making space in your home, it's about making space in your life. A house filled with unused items can feel overwhelming, while a home that holds only what is useful or meaningful feels peaceful. And at this stage in life, peace is far more valuable than stuff. Another shift happens when you stop chasing the need to impress others. When you were younger, there may have been pressure to have the right car, the right clothes, the right furniture to show success. But now you no longer feel the need to prove anything to anyone. You buy what you need and you stop worrying about what others think of it. That kind of freedom is priceless. And perhaps most importantly, you start thinking about what truly lasts. At the end of life, no one wishes they had bought more things. They wish they had more time, more love, more experiences. The joy of a shared meal, the warmth of laughter, the peace of a simple life, these are the things that truly enrich a person's later years. Not another new gadget, another piece of furniture, or another unnecessary purchase. If you've spent years accumulating, now is the time to simplify. Focus on what truly adds value to your life and let go of what doesn't. Because when you stop trying to collect more, you start appreciating what you already have. And that is one of the greatest lessons of all. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Final thoughts. As we wrap up this video, take a moment to reflect on these 6 things that become unnecessary after 60. Keeping up with trends, seeking everyone's approval, overloading your schedule, holding on to toxic relationships, worrying about what others think, and accumulating more stuff. Each of these things can take up unnecessary space in your life, both physically and mentally. But when you let them go, you create room for what truly matters. This stage of life isn't about chasing after the things that once seemed important. It's about embracing what makes you feel at peace. It's about enjoying the freedom that comes with experience, the confidence that comes with wisdom, and the joy of living life on your own terms. And when you stop holding on to what no longer serves you, you find that life becomes richer, simpler, and far more meaningful. So ask yourself, which of these 6 things are you ready to let go of? Which ones have you already left behind, and which ones are still lingering? Taking that first step, whether it's decluttering, setting boundaries, or simply caring less about what others think, can make all the difference. Because the truth is, the best years of your life aren't behind you. They're still unfolding, waiting for you to embrace them fully. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. What makes you attractive and unspokenly irresistible without saying a word? After 65, it's no longer about youth, beauty, or trying to impress. It's about something deeper, more magnetic, and far more powerful. The truth is, real attraction isn't about what you wear or how you look. It's about how you carry yourself, how you think, and how you make others feel. People who are silently captivating have mastered certain qualities that make them unforgettable. They don't beg for attention, they don't try too hard, and yet others are naturally drawn to them. And the best part? These traits have nothing to do with age. They are things you can cultivate at any stage of life. In this video, we're going to explore 6 ways to become silently attractive and unspokenly irresistible. Between the ages of 65 and 80, these are the qualities that make people gravitate toward you, respect you, and genuinely enjoy your presence without you having to say a word. If you've ever wondered how to remain intriguing, magnetic, and deeply valued, you won't want to miss this. Stay with me until the very end, because the last one is something that most people completely overlook. And yet it's the one thing that can set you apart in a way that feels effortless. If you've ever wanted to feel more confident, respected, and naturally captivating, this is for you. Before we begin, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you enjoy this video, please type 1 in the comments. If you don't like it, type 0 in the comments to let me know, so I can make better videos for you. Now let's get started. Number 1, a quiet confidence that speaks louder than words. There is something undeniably magnetic about a person who carries themselves with quiet confidence. Not arrogance, not the need to prove anything, just a calm, unshakable self-assurance that makes people instinctively pay attention. This kind of confidence doesn't come from talking about yourself or trying to impress others. It comes from knowing who you are and being completely at peace with it. People who possess this quality don't seek validation from others because they already validate themselves. They don't try to dominate conversations or prove their worth because they already know their worth. And that kind of quiet strength, it's irresistible. Take someone like Richard, a 74-year-old former business owner. He doesn't walk into a room trying to be the center of attention, but somehow people notice him anyway. He never raises his voice to be heard, yet when he speaks, people listen. He doesn't dress in a way that screams for attention, yet he always looks put together, with an effortless kind of presence. What makes him so captivating? It's his energy, his self-possession, his quiet, unforced confidence. And here's the thing. This kind of presence has nothing to do with age. It has everything to do with how you feel about yourself. People who are silently attractive don't need to prove their importance because they already know their own value. They don't need to overshare, overexplain, or overcompensate because they are already secure in themselves. The most attractive people, especially as they get older, are the ones who move through life with a sense of inner certainty. They've been through enough to know what matters and what doesn't. They don't chase approval, they don't force anything, and because of that, their presence alone carries weight. So how do you cultivate this kind of quiet confidence? First, own your strengths and accept your imperfections. Confidence doesn't mean being perfect. It means being completely comfortable with who you are. Second, speak less and observe more. Truly confident people don't rush to fill every silence. They listen. They choose their words carefully, and that makes what they say carry more weight. Third, stand and move with purpose. The way you walk into a room, the way you carry yourself, the way you make eye contact, it all matters. People sense when someone is comfortable in their own skin. Confidence isn't about being loud. It's about being anchored. And when you cultivate this kind of presence, you don't have to do anything extra to attract people. They will simply be drawn to you. Number 2, the power of saying less and meaning more. There is something undeniably captivating about a person who doesn't feel the need to fill every silence. Someone who speaks with intention, listens with purpose, and knows that words carry more weight when they are used sparingly. The most silently attractive people are those who understand that mystery is powerful, that leaving some things unsaid often makes them even more intriguing. In a world where people are constantly talking to be heard, the ones who stand out are the ones who don't rush to speak. They don't feel the need to over-explain, overshare, or dominate conversations. Instead, they listen intently, process fully, and speak only when they truly have something to say. And when they do, people pay attention, because they know that every word is thoughtful and intentional. Take someone like Evelyn, a 77-year-old retired teacher. She doesn't engage in gossip. She doesn't force her opinions into every discussion. But when she does speak, her words have weight. She never wastes words, and because of that, people hang on to everyone she says. Her presence alone commands respect, not because she demands it, but because she carries herself with an aura of quiet wisdom. People who are silently irresistible know that there is power in leaving some things to the imagination. They don't reveal everything about themselves all at once. They let people discover them slowly, piece by piece, creating an air of depth and complexity that draws others in. And the more someone wants to know, the more intriguing they become. So how can you cultivate this kind of presence? First, slow down before you speak. Instead of immediately responding, take a moment to process your thoughts. This makes your words more meaningful. Second, listen more than you talk. People love being around someone who makes them feel heard. Third, embrace the power of mystery. You don't need to explain everything about yourself. Allow people to discover you over time. Silence, when used well, is magnetic. It creates curiosity. It makes people lean in, and it leaves an impression that lingers long after the conversation has ended. If you've ever known someone whose quiet presence made them unforgettable, let me know by commenting number 2 below. Your engagement helps me continue creating content that supports and uplifts you. Number 3, the effortless elegance of self-respect. There is nothing more silently attractive than a person who respects themselves. Someone who carries themselves with dignity, who sets boundaries without guilt, and who moves through life knowing their own worth. This kind of unspoken self-respect is magnetic. It makes people notice you, admire you, and treat you with the same level of respect you demand from yourself. Self-respect isn't about being standoffish or difficult. It's about knowing what you will and will not accept. It's about valuing your time, energy, and presence. People who lack self-respect are often too eager to please, too willing to compromise their own needs for others, and too afraid to say no. But the ones who are quietly irresistible are the ones who know that they don't need to prove their worth to anyone. Take someone like James, a 72-year-old former architect. There was a time in his life when he said yes to everything, helping people when he was too tired, listening to complaints he didn't want to hear, allowing others to drain his energy without giving anything in return. But over time, he realized something: his time was valuable, and it was okay to protect it. Now he sets clear boundaries, not in a harsh way, but in a way that lets people know that he values himself. And the result? People respect him more, seek his company more, and admire the quiet strength he carries. Here's what makes self-respect so powerful: when you respect yourself, others take notice. You no longer have to chase approval, beg for attention, or overextend yourself. Instead, people naturally feel drawn to you because they sense your strength, your confidence, and your deep-rooted sense of worth. So how do you embody this kind of effortless elegance? First, protect your energy. If something drains you, it's okay to walk away. If someone constantly takes and never gives, it's okay to limit your time with them. Second, say no without guilt. The most respected people are the ones who don't feel the need to justify or apologize for protecting their peace. Third, carry yourself like someone who knows their own worth. Walk with intention, speak with certainty, and never feel the need to explain why you deserve to be treated well. People can sense when you respect yourself. It shows in how you talk, how you move, and how you handle yourself in every situation. And that quiet, unwavering self-respect, it's irresistible. Number 4, the undeniable allure of being fully present. In a world where people are constantly distracted, thinking about what's next, scrolling through their phones, half listening to conversations. The most silently attractive individuals are the ones who know how to be fully present. They don't rush through interactions, they don't let their minds wander, and they don't treat conversations like something to get through. Instead, they give their full attention, making the person in front of them feel like the most important person in the room. Presence is rare, and because it's rare, it's magnetic. When someone is truly present, you feel it. You notice the way they listen without interrupting, the way their eyes stay focused on you instead of darting around the room, the way they react in real time instead of just waiting for their turn to speak. And that kind of attention, it makes people feel deeply seen and valued. Take someone like Margaret, a 68-year-old retired writer. When she talks to people, she isn't thinking about what she's going to say next. She's absorbing every word, every expression, every detail of the conversation. She doesn't cut people off, she doesn't check her watch, and she doesn't rush to fill silences. Instead, she listens, truly listens. And because of that, people open up to her. They feel comfortable around her. They seek out her presence, not because she demands attention, but because she makes others feel like they matter. Being fully present isn't just about listening, it's about how you engage with life itself. People who radiate this quality don't just exist in the background of their own lives. They savor their morning coffee. They notice the way the sunlight hits the trees. They appreciate the small, beautiful moments that so many others rush past. And because they experience life more deeply, they naturally become more intriguing, more peaceful, and more irresistible to be around. So how can you cultivate this presence? First, put away distractions when talking to others. Give people your full attention. It's one of the rarest and most valuable gifts you can offer. Second, slow down and truly experience the moment you're in. Whether it's a conversation, a meal, or a walk, allow yourself to be fully immersed in it. Third, make eye contact and listen with intention. When people feel truly heard, they feel drawn to you in a way they can't explain. Being present isn't about doing more, it's about being more. And the people who master this, they are unforgettable. If this resonates with you, if you believe that presence is one of the most attractive qualities a person can have, let me know by commenting number 4 below. Your engagement helps me continue creating content that supports and uplifts you. Number 5, the quiet strength of emotional composure. There is something incredibly attractive about a person who remains calm and composed, no matter what is happening around them. Not cold, not distant, but emotionally steady in a way that makes others feel safe in their presence. This is a kind of silent strength that cannot be faked. It comes from a deep sense of inner stability and self-awareness. And when you have it, people notice. In a world where many people are quick to anger, easily offended, or constantly caught up in drama, the most irresistible individuals are those who refuse to be emotionally reactive. They don't let small inconveniences ruin their day. They don't get pulled into meaningless arguments. They don't give their energy to negativity. Instead, they know how to pause, process, and respond with thoughtfulness instead of impulse. Take someone like Walter, a 76-year-old retired firefighter. He has seen it all: stressful situations, unexpected challenges, difficult people. And yet, no matter what, he never lets the chaos around him control his emotions. If someone is rude to him, he doesn't react with anger, he remains calm. If something doesn't go his way, he doesn't complain, he finds a solution. And because of this, people gravitate toward him. They admire him. They feel secure in his presence because they know that no matter what happens, he will not be shaken. Here's what most people don't realize: emotional composure is one of the most attractive qualities a person can have. When you are steady, when you do not let the world dictate your emotions, you exude a quiet confidence that is impossible to ignore. So how do you develop this level of composure? First, learn to pause before reacting. When something upsets you, take a breath. Give yourself a moment before responding. It will change everything. Second, don't let small things steal your peace. Not every inconvenience is worth your frustration. Protect your energy by choosing your battles wisely. Third, carry yourself with the mindset that nothing can shake you. Because when you believe it, others will sense it too. A person who remains calm, steady, and in control of their emotions stands out in a way that is both powerful and deeply attractive. They don't have to prove their strength, it speaks for itself. Number 6, the magnetic appeal of a life well lived. There is something undeniably irresistible about a person who has lived a full life and carries the wisdom of their experiences with quiet confidence. Not someone who boasts about their past, but someone who wears their history like a well-fitted coat, comfortable, natural, and with quiet dignity. This kind of person doesn't need to seek attention because their very presence tells a story. As we get older, we have a choice. We can either dwell on the past, wishing things had been different, or we can embrace everything we've lived through and allow it to shape us into someone with depth, character, and quiet allure. The most silently attractive individuals are the ones who have done exactly that. They have gathered wisdom, they have learned from their mistakes, and they have developed a kind of peace that only comes from a life well lived. Take someone like Helen, an 81-year-old former artist. She doesn't talk much about her past unless someone asks. But when she does, her stories are rich, vivid, and full of wisdom. She has seen the world change. She has loved deeply. She has experienced loss, and yet she carries it all with grace. She doesn't dwell on regrets. She doesn't try to relive her youth. And she doesn't compete with younger generations because she knows that her value lies in who she is now, not who she used to be. And because of that, she is utterly captivating. This kind of presence is rare. Many people as they age become bitter, resentful, or stuck in nostalgia. But the ones who are truly magnetic are the ones who embrace every season of life with appreciation. They are not trying to hold on to the past. They are fully living in the present, knowing that every wrinkle, every laugh line, every experience has made them someone worth knowing. So how do you embody this? First, own your story. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Your experiences have shaped you, and that alone makes you interesting. Second, never stop learning. The most attractive people are the ones who stay curious about life, no matter their age. Third, live with a sense of gratitude. People who appreciate life, no matter what stage they're in, radiate a quiet beauty that draws others in. The truth is, age does not take away your attractiveness, it refines it. The more you embrace who you are, the more naturally magnetic you become. And that is what makes a person silently irresistible. If this speaks to you, if you believe that life experience is one of the most attractive qualities a person can have, let me know by commenting number 6 below. Your engagement helps me continue creating content that supports and uplifts you. Final thoughts. As we wrap up this video, take a moment to reflect on these 6 qualities. They have nothing to do with youth, flashy appearances, or trying to impress others. Instead, they are about how you carry yourself, how you treat people, and how you live your life. The most silently attractive and unspokenly irresistible people are the ones who don't chase attention. They simply exist in a way that makes others take notice. These traits aren't about changing who you are. They're about embracing your natural presence in a way that draws people toward you effortlessly. A person with quiet confidence, emotional composure, deep self-respect, and an appreciation for life is more captivating than any trend or passing fad. If you recognized yourself in any of these 6 qualities, or if you feel inspired to cultivate them more in your own life, know that you are already on the right path. Being magnetic isn't about trying harder. It's about letting go of what doesn't serve you and stepping into the kind of presence that naturally commands attention. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 6 qualities resonated with you the most? Do you see them in yourself? Or is there one you want to develop more? Share your thoughts in the comments. I truly enjoy reading your insights and experiences. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.
Hello there. If you're watching this right now, chances are you or someone you love has been doing their best to stay healthy in their golden years. Maybe that means walking every day around the neighborhood. Or maybe it's making sure you get 10,000 steps in before dinner. If so, I want to begin by saying you're doing something right. But I also want to offer you something better. My name is Dr. James Hall. I'm a geriatric physician with over 30 years of experience helping older adults stay strong, independent, and full of life well into their 70s, 80s, and beyond. I've seen what works, and more importantly, what doesn't. And today, I want to share with you something that could change the way you think about aging forever. The big misconception. For decades, The golden rule has been, just keep walking. And don't get me wrong, walking is a beautiful, simple, and accessible form of movement. It gets your heart pumping, your legs moving, and your mind relaxed. It's a fantastic starting point. But here's what most people don't realize. After age 70, walking alone is not enough. In fact, if it's your only form of exercise, it might actually be holding you back. That may sound surprising or even frustrating, especially if you've been disciplined about getting your daily steps in. But stick with me. I'm not here to take walking away from you. I'm here to add something back. Something deeper, stronger, and more powerful for your long-term health. The silent decline that walking can't stop. Let me tell you something that every geriatric doctor knows, but most older adults are never told. There are 5 silent threats that begin to accelerate after age 70. Muscle loss, balance instability, joint stiffness, postural weakening, overuse strain on knees and hips. Walking helps with some of these, but it leaves critical gaps. Gaps that, if ignored, can lead to falls, pain, hospital visits, and the slow fading of independence. You may feel okay today. You may say, I'm still moving fine. But aging doesn't shout, it whispers. It whispers when getting out of bed feels a little harder. It whispers when you start using your hand to push off the couch. It whispers when a short walk leaves your knees aching or your back sore. And by the time that whisper becomes a scream, often in the form of a fall or a health scare, recovery is slower, harder, and more painful. But here's the truth. It doesn't have to be this way. New standard, 5 pillars of healthy aging. Doctors today are no longer just telling older adults to keep moving. We're telling them to move smarter, to focus on 5 essential areas of fitness that protect your independence, your energy, and even your brain health. Over the next hour of this video, I'm going to guide you through these 5 pillars. Strength training, to prevent muscle loss. Balance exercises, to avoid life-altering falls. Flexibility and mobility work, to keep your joints pain-free. Core and posture movements, to protect your spine and confidence. Low-impact joint-safe movement, to reduce wear and tear. These are not complex. They don't require a gym. They don't demand perfection. They just require intention. A small daily choice to support the only body you've got. And I promise you, your body is still capable of adapting, growing, and even improving, no matter your age. The new standard, 5 pillars of healthy aging. Doctors today are no longer just telling older adults to keep moving. We're telling them to move smarter, to focus on 5 essential areas of fitness that protect your independence, your energy, and even your brain health. Over the next hour of this video, I'm going to guide you through these 5 pillars. Strength training, to prevent muscle loss. Balance exercises, to avoid life-altering falls. Flexibility and mobility work, to keep your joints pain-free. Core and posture movements, to protect your spine and confidence. Low-impact joint-safe movement, to reduce wear and tear. These are not complex. They don't require a gym. They don't demand perfection. They just require intention. A small daily choice to support the only body you've got. And I promise you, your body is still capable of adapting, growing, and even improving, no matter your age. What this video isn't. This video is not about fear. It's about power. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what works. And it's not about blaming you for walking, it's about celebrating that habit while helping you build a foundation that goes deeper. Because you deserve more than just steps. You deserve strength, balance, comfort, and freedom. So if you've ever felt frustrated that aging feels harder than it should, if you've ever thought, I just don't feel as strong as I used to and I don't know why, Or if you're simply curious to know what science says you really need after 70, then keep watching. This video may be the most important one you see this year. Pillar number 1. Strength training. Your first line of defense against aging. Let's begin with what I believe is the single most overlooked and most powerful form of exercise for people over 70. Strength training. I know what you might be thinking. Strength training? At my age? Isn't that for young people at the gym, lifting heavy weights? Absolutely not. In fact, strength training becomes more important as you age less. Let me explain why. What happens to muscle after 70? After the age of 30, your body begins to lose muscle mass gradually. By age 70, you may have lost up to 25–30% of your total muscle mass without even noticing. That process is called sarcopenia. And it's not just about getting weaker or slower, it's about losing one of the key protectors of your life, your muscle system. Muscles don't just help you lift things. They help you stand up from a chair, climb stairs, carry groceries, maintain balance, protect your joints, and even support your metabolism and brain function. When you lose muscle, everything becomes harder. And the worst part? Most people don't realize it's happening until it's already caused real damage. The hidden danger of feeling fine. Let me introduce you to a former patient of mine, Robert, age 74. Robert walked every day. He was proud of that. He felt fine until one day he tried to lift a small box of books from the floor and couldn't. His arms shook. His back tensed. And when he tried to stand up from the couch later that week, he realized he needed both hands and a little push just to get moving. That's when he came to me. Not because he was in pain, but because he felt off. We did some basic muscle strength assessments, and the results shocked him. His lower body strength had dropped by nearly 40% in the last decade. His grip strength, a major predictor of longevity, was well below average. And the truth is, if Robert didn't start working on his strength right then, the road ahead would only get harder. What counts as strength training? Now, let me ease your mind. Strength training doesn't mean going to the gym and bench pressing 200 pounds. It means using progressive resistance, applying just enough challenge to your muscles so they adapt, strengthen, and grow. Here's what that might look like for someone in their 70s. Doing chair squats, sitting and standing from a chair without hands, lifting light dumbbells or water bottles, using resistance bands, doing countertop push-ups, holding a wall, sit for 10–20 seconds, practicing step-ups on stairs. These simple movements, done consistently, can transform how you feel, how you move, and even how your brain functions. Because remember, muscle isn't just for motion, it sends powerful signals to your bones, brain, and heart. The science is clear. Study after study confirms the power of strength training after 70. One study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that seniors who participated in regular strength training had a 46% lower risk of death from any cause. Strength training improves bone density, reducing your risk of fractures. It boosts balance and stability, cutting your fall risk in half. It improves glucose regulation, helping fight off type 2 diabetes. And it even boosts cognitive performance. Lifting can sharpen your mind. So if you've ever wondered, what's one thing I can do to stay young? This is it. Number 2. Balance and stability. The hidden lifeline to your independence. Let's move to something that isn't talked about nearly enough yet. It may be the most important predictor of whether someone in their 70s, 80s, or 90s lives independently, or ends up in a hospital bed. Balance. I want you to take a moment and ask yourself this. When was the last time you truly thought about your balance? Was it while reaching for something on the top shelf? Was it the last time you bent down to tie your shoes and felt just slightly unsteady? Or maybe you haven't noticed anything yet, and that's the most dangerous part. You see, balance doesn't usually go all at once. It slips quietly, gradually, until one day, you fall. The truth about falls. After 70, let me be clear. Falls are the leading cause of injury-related death in older adults. Not disease, not infection. Falls. More than 3 million seniors are treated in emergency rooms every year because of falls. And once you fall, especially after 70, the recovery can be long, painful, and sometimes incomplete. A broken hip at 75 can be the start of a permanent decline. But here's the part most people miss. Most falls aren't caused by weak legs. They're caused by weakened balance systemstony muscles in your feet, ankles, hips, and core that no longer respond as quickly or stabilize as well. And unfortunately, walking alone won't fix that. Why walking isn't balance training? It's easy to assume, well, I walk every day. That means my balance is good, right? Not quite. Walking is a rhythmic, repetitive movement. It doesn't challenge your body to stabilize in unusual positions or respond quickly to uneven ground, curbs, or sudden changes in motion. It doesn't force your brain and muscles to react in the unpredictable ways real life demands. Balance, on the other hand, is reactive. It's your body's internal GPS plus shock absorbers plus stabilizer bars all working in real time. And like any system, if you don't train it, you lose it. Edward's story. A close call. I'd like you to meet Edward. He's 76, a retired school principal who took pride in staying active. He walked his dog every morning, ate well, stayed socially engaged. But last year, something happened that shook him. While stepping off a curb downtown, his right foot landed awkwardly, just a little too far. In a split second, he lost his balance. Arms flailing, heart racing, stumbled forward, barely catching himself on a newspaper stand. He didn't fall, but he could have. And that moment stuck with him. He came into my clinic a few days later and said something I'll never forget. I didn't realize how vulnerable I'd become until my own body reminded me. We tested his balance things like standing on one foot for 10 seconds, heel to toe walking in a straight line, shifting weight side to side with eyes closed. Edward failed most of them. And yet, he felt fine. He had no pain. He walked daily. But his balance system had been slowly deteriorating, and he never saw it coming. Why balance declines with age, and what to do about it. As you age, several things begin to change. The small stabilizer muscles around your ankles and hips weaken. Your inner ear, which controls spatial orientation, becomes less sensitive. Your reflexes slow down, meaning your body takes longer to correct a misstep. And your proprioception, your brain's sense of where your body is in space, becomes less sharp. But here's the good news. Just like with strength, balance can be rebuilt. In fact, many studies show that regular balance training can reduce fall risk by up to 50%, even in adults over 80. Number 3. Flexibility and mobility. The quiet keys to pain. Free living. Let's talk about something that often goes unnoticed until it's gone. Your ability to move freely and pain-free. You might not think of it every day, but the truth is your joints, your muscles, your tendons, all of them work in beautiful coordination just to help you do the simplest things. Turn your head to check for traffic. Reach up to grab a cup from the cabinet. Bend over to tie your shoe or pick up a dropped key. Now imagine this. What happens when those movements start to feel tight? What happens when you stop reaching, twisting, or bending because it's just not as comfortable as it used to be? That's what we call a slow loss of mobility. And it is one of the most underestimated threats to aging well. When the body begins to tighten, as we age, it's natural for our joints to lose fluid, for connective tissues to stiffen, and for muscles to shorten from disuse. This doesn't happen all at once. In fact, many people barely notice it at first. It might start with a little tightness turning your neck in the morning, a slight struggle to reach behind your back, to put on a coat, or a low back twinge when trying to pick something up off the floor. But here's the danger. When you begin to avoid those movements, when you stop rotating your spine, or opening your hips, or lifting your arms fully overhead, your range of motion shrinks. Your posture suffers. And over time, your ability to move with ease fades away. It's not just about stiffness, it's about independence. Because the moment you stop being able to move freely is the moment everyday tasks start to feel like obstacles. Walter's story. I didn't even realize I was stiff. I'll tell you about Walter, age 78. He was a proud walker every morning, rain or shine. He assumed that meant his joints were getting what they needed. But over time, he noticed some small things. He had to bend his knees deeper to reach the ground. Getting out of bed in the morning took more effort, and he'd walk it off for the first 20 minutes of the day. Turning to look behind him while driving felt tighter. He shrugged it off. Just getting older, he'd say. Until one day, he tried reaching to fasten his seatbelt and couldn't quite get it around without twisting awkwardly. That was his wake-up call. Not pain, not injury. Just the realization that his movement wasn't what it used to be. When he came to see me, we did a few simple range of motion tests and, sure enough, his shoulders, spine, and hip flexors were all significantly restricted. And yet, he walked daily. That's the key takeaway. Walking moves your legs, but it doesn't stretch your joints. It doesn't rotate your spine. It doesn't open your shoulders. It doesn't elongate your muscles. Mobility isn't just about moving. It's about moving well. Why flexibility and mobility matter more than you think. Here's what science and decades of patient experience tells us. Maintaining flexibility improves blood circulation. It reduces muscle and joint pain. It helps prevent compensatory movements that lead to injury, and it can dramatically improve posture, breathing, and even digestion. In fact, one large study from Japan found that seniors with greater flexibility, particularly in the spine and hamstrings, had significantly lower risk of falling and better functional independence scores than their stiff counterparts. Think of flexibility as the oil in your engine. Without it, everything grinds, stiffens, and eventually breaks down. Number 4. Core and posture. The silent foundation of strength and stability. Now let's talk about something that shapes every movement you make, even though you probably don't think about it very often. Your core and your posture. Most people hear the word core and immediately think of six-pack abs or magazine fitness models. But that's not what we're talking about here. For those of us over 70, your core is not about vanity. It's about survival. Your core is the center of gravity in your body. It's the brace that holds your spine in alignment. It's the stabilizer that allows you to sit upright, walk tall, stand without swaying, and move without hurting your back. And if it weakens, your entire structure weakens with it. The foundation beneath everything else. I want you to picture a tree. A tall, beautiful tree can only stay upright in a storm if its trunk is strong. No matter how healthy the branches or how deep the roots, if the trunk is unstable, the entire tree leans, buckles, and eventually breaks. That's your core. It doesn't just help you do sit-ups. It supports your spinal alignment, your balance and coordination, your ability to stand, walk, bend, and rotate safely, and your posture, a literal shape of how you carry yourself in the world. Posture isn't just about appearance. It's about breathing, blood flow, energy, safety, and even self-confidence. When posture collapses, pressure increases on your lower back, your neck strains to compensate, and your knees and hips work overtime. The result? Discomfort, stiffness, fatigue, and a greater risk of injury. Harold's story. The weight of a weak core. Harold, one of my longtime patients, was 75 when he came to see me about some chronic lower back stiffness. He walked daily, ate well, even did some light stretching. But I noticed something immediately. When he sat in the chair, he slouched. When he stood, his shoulders rounded forward. When he walked, his steps were short and cautious, not confident. We did a few posture and core assessments. He couldn't hold a wall stand for more than a few seconds without feeling discomfort. He had trouble engaging his abdominal muscles while sitting upright. And when asked to lift one knee while standing still, he wobbled not because of leg weakness, but because his core wasn't stabilizing him. Harold had strong legs, but a weak foundation. And that's more common than you think. Signs your core and posture are slipping. You might not notice your core weakening until it's already causing issues. Here are some common red flags I see in patients over 70. Needing to lean forward when standing or walking. Lower back stiffness or discomfort, especially when upright for long periods. Feeling winded faster than usual. Poor posture limits breathing capacity. Trouble sitting up straight without support. A feeling of being off balance when moving quickly or turning. If any of these sound familiar, don't panic. The good news is, core strength and posture can be improved at any age. Even in your 80s or 90s. The right gentle movements can help rebuild your internal stability, reduce back pain, and make you feel more secure and energized in your body. Why it matters? Beyond just the back. Studies show that improved core activation leads to better gait stability, lower fall risk, fewer spinal injuries, and improved bladder control, digestion, and breathing. Yes, you read that right. Your abdominal muscles even help support internal organ function. This isn't about looks. It's about longevity, comfort, and confidence. And the best part, you don't need crunches, you don't need gym machines, you just need awareness and gentle, consistent activation of the muscles that keep your frame upright. Number 5. Joint protection and low impact movement. The art of moving without pain. Let me ask you something simple. How do your knees feel after a long walk? What about your hips after a day on your feet? Do your ankles ever feel stiff in the morning? Or maybe it's your lower back quietly protesting after doing errands? If you've ever shrugged it off as just part of getting older, you're not alone. But here's the truth. Joint pain is not an inevitable part of aging. It's often a sign of wear without recovery, of movement without protection, and sometimes walking without balance. That brings us to our final pillarone of the most important and misunderstood: joint protection and low-impact movement. Because moving your body is essential, but how you move it matters even more. The anatomy of wear and tear. Let's take a quick moment to understand what happens to your joints as you age. Each joint, whether it's your knee, hip, shoulder, or spine, is surrounded by cartilage that cushions the bones. Inside, there's a lubricant called synovial fluid that helps everything glide smoothly. The surrounding muscles act like shock absorbers. But over time, cartilage naturally wears thinner. Synovial fluid production slows. Muscle support weakens if unused. Now, imagine walking step after step on joints that aren't fully supported. Even a healthy habit like walking can become a repetitive stressor, especially when it's your only form of movement. When walking alone starts to hurt. Let me be clear again. I'm not here to tell you to stop walking, but I am here to help you understand why walking alone may not be enough and might even be contributing to discomfort. You see, walking involves repetitive impact on the knees and hips. minimal variation in joint angles, limited activation of support muscles beyond the legs. For someone in their 70s or 80s, doing this day after day without any complementary movement like stretching, mobility work, or non-impact activities can slowly lead to inflammation, stiffness, and eventually, joint pain. Raymond's story. The daily walk that hurt more than helped. Raymond, 77, was a dedicated walker. He prided himself on getting his 8,000 steps every day. But over time, he began to notice that his knees ached by the evening. His lower back felt tight. He had to rest longer between errands, and mornings started with groaning his way out of bed. At first, he thought, well, I'm still walking every day. I should be doing better, not worse. So he walked more. But the pain got worse. That's when he came to me. And after just one conversation, it became clear Raymond was moving without support. He wasn't doing anything wrong. He was just doing too much of one thing and not enough of the right things to support it. The shift. From repetition to restoration. When we introduced low-impact, joint-friendly movements to Raymond's routine: swimming twice a week, chair yoga on Sundays, some simple hip and ankle mobility drills before bed, everything changed. Within 4 weeks, his knees stopped aching. His back felt more limber. And most importantly, he was still walking. But now, without pain. That's the power of respecting your joints. Of listening when your body whispers instead of waiting until it screams. So, here we are. You've made it through what I truly believe are the 5 most important lessons anyone over 70 can learn about their health. That muscle mass is your first line of defense against aging. That balance isn't guaranteed and can be rebuilt before it's lost. That mobility and flexibility are the oil in your joints, not just luxuries. That core strength and posture shape not just how you look, but how you feel. And that joint protective, low-impact movement is the art of moving without pain. If there's one message I hope you'll carry with you from this entire video, it's this. Movement alone isn't enough. The right kind of movement is what gives you your life back. Getting older doesn't mean getting weaker. I've been a doctor for more than 30 years. And the biggest myth I've seen people believe is that aging means decline. That it's normal to slow down, to lose strength, to feel stiff, to hurt. But what I've learned, and what I've seen in hundreds of patients, says this. Aging means changing. But change doesn't have to mean losing. Your body still wants to move well. It still wants to be strong. It just needs a little help, a little intention, and maybe a new direction. A simple question for you right now. Take a moment, right now, and ask yourself, do I feel as strong as I'd like to? Do I trust my body to catch me if I stumble? Do I move with ease? Do I hesitate, compensate, or push through discomfort? Do I rely only on walking to stay healthy? Have I ignored stiffness, aches, or balance issues, thinking they're just age? If the answer to any of those is yes, please know this. You can change it. Starting today, it's never too late, and it doesn't take a lot. Here's the beautiful part about every tip we've shared. You don't need a gym membership. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need to move like you did at 30. You just need consistency. A chair, a wall, a little curiosity, and most of all a decision to start. Because once you begin even with 5 minutes a day, you'll start to feel it. A bit more strength in your legs, a bit more confidence in your step, a bit more freedom in your shoulders and spine, a bit more you returning to the surface. That's not just movement. That's reclaiming your independence.